There have been 523 people on the FBI's most wanted list since it began on March 14, 1950. There are still people on the list that haven't been caught yet. In this video, we're going to look at the top 10 current FBI's most wanted. Number 1. Eugene Palmer. Eugene Palmer is currently on the FBI's most wanted list for allegedly shooting his daughter-in-law to death. Eugene's daughter-in-law Tammy was going through a messy breakup with his son John. John and Tammy both had multiple heated arguments that eventually led to her filing a restraining order against him. Eugene didn't take this too well, so this caused many angry fights between him and Tammy. One September morning, Tammy walked her children to the school bus, and when she walked back home, Eugene shot her once in the arm and then in the chest. He fled the scene and has never been seen since. Number 2. Robert William Fisher. Robert William Fisher has been on the FBI's most wanted list since 2002. On April 10, 2001, detectives discovered the Fisher family's burned-down home and found evidence of murder. His wife, Mary Fisher, had her throat slashed and had been shot in the back of her head. Her 2 children, Brittany and Bobby, had their throats cut too. The bodies were so badly burned that it made them almost unrecognizable. Robert William Fisher was nowhere to be found on the scene and is still on the loose. Number 3. Jason Derrick Brown. Jason Derrick Brown is wanted by the police for first-degree murder and armed robbery. He was added to the FBI's most wanted list on December 8, 2007, which was 3 years after the crime was committed. On November 29, 2004, Jason Brown ambushed Robert Palomares while he was working, shot him 6 times, and stole a bag of money containing $56,000 in cash before leaving the scene on a bike. The bike was recovered and had Jason Brown's prints on it. The reward for tips leading to his capture is $200,000. Number 4. YASER ABDEL said. YASER ABDEL said had 2 daughters, Amina and Sarah, whom he frequently abused. He constantly would threaten his daughters' lives, and they lived in fear because of him. After his daughter Amina refused an arranged marriage with an older man, YASER was extremely angry. On New Year's Day in 2008, YASER lured his daughters into his cab by telling them he was taking them out to lunch and shot both of them in the back of his cab. Amina died instantly, but Sarah lived long enough to call the police before she died. YASER was put on the FBI's most wanted list on December 4, 2014, and the reward for tips leading to his arrest is $100,000. Number 5. ARNOLDO JIMENEZ. ARNOLDO JIMENEZ was put on the FBI's most wanted list on May 8, 2019. He is wanted for the 2012 murder of his wife, Estrella Carrera, just hours after they were married. It is believed that they got into an argument on the way home from the wedding when ARNOLDO stabbed Estrella several times, dragged her body to the bathtub in her apartment, and then left her there. When Estrella didn't pick up her children, her family called the police. She was found dead and ARNOLDO disappeared. It is believed his brother helped him go to Mexico. Number 6. Alejandro Rosales Castillo. Alejandro Rosales Castillo is wanted for the murder of True Guan Lee back in August 2016. Castillo and Lee used to go out with each other, but before they broke up, Castillo borrowed money from Lee. Later on, Castillo met up with Lee after their breakup to pay her money back. Instead, he held Lee up at gunpoint, drained her accounts of money, and drove her to the woods before shooting her in the back of the head, then abandoning her body in a ravine. Castillo and his then-girlfriend, Amia Feaster, went to Mexico in Lee's car. Feaster later returned to the U.S. and turned herself in. He was then arrested and charged as an accessory. Number 7. Santiago Villalba Medeiros. Santiago Villalba Medeiros was a member added to the FBI's most wanted list in 2017 for the murder of 2 people, Camille Love and Sal Lucas Alfonso, and the wounding of another man. One day, Camille was walking with her brother, who was wearing a red jacket and driving in a red car, which was the color of their rival gang, and they opened fire, killing Camille and wounding her brother. Sal Lucas Alfonso was killed because Santiago thought he owned the gang money. It's been years since the murders took place, and it is believed that Santiago fled to Mexico, but it is possible that he's still in the U.S. Number 8. Alexis Flores. Alexis Flores is currently on the FBI's most wanted list because in 2000 he kidnapped, raped, and strangled to death a 5-year-old girl named Ariana De Jesus. Alexis was living as a homeless drifter at the time, so it was not a problem for him to disappear. In 2004, Alexis was living under a false name, and when the police received a noise complaint, he gave them false papers that got him arrested for forgery. He was then imprisoned for 60 days and deported to Honduras. In 2007, after a positive DNA match, police realized that Alexis and the man calling himself Carlos were the same person. By the time he was on America's Most Wanted, he was already long gone. Number 9. Rafael CARO-QUINTERO. Rafael CARO-QUINTERO is believed to be responsible for the kidnapping and murder of DEA agent named Enrique Kiki Camarena on February 7, 1985. He also allegedly killed Camerena's pilot, Alfredo Zavala Avler, John Clay Walker, and Alberto Redlat. Walker and Redlat were most likely mistaken for U.S. drug agents, so that was the reason behind their killings. Rafael was arrested by Mexican police, was sentenced to 40 years and imprisoned for only 28 years before being released in 2013. A warrant for his arrest was issued by the U.S. government, but Quintero has disappeared and has been a fugitive ever since. Number 10. Badruskumar Patel. Badruskumar Patel is an Indian fugitive wanted for the murder of his wife Palik Patel in Dunkin' Donuts on April 12, 2015. He was added to the FBI's most wanted list 2 years later on April 18, 2017. It is believed that the couple had an argument about Patel wanted to stay in the US, but Palak wanted to return to India. He stabbed her to death with a knife. She was only 21 years old too. Thank you for watching. If you like this video and want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and leave a like. Peace.